We are back for week 2 JPDL predictions. And listen, we have a slew of games coming up that could definitely impact the power rankings. So you better stay tuned and listen to what we got planned because there are a lot of keys to the game that you might not even know. So let's just get right into it and start with the first game. For our first matchup, we have two teams that honestly, they didn't move at all in the power rankings after week 1. I mean, they are the 1 and the 2 seed playing on Thursday night fantasy football for the JPDL. And I'm going to be honest with you, there are a lot of keys to this game. I mean, look at the rosters that you should be seeing right now. I can't even explain to you the type of star power and firepower we have coming up this game. But let's just go right into the keys of the game. First off, there's a slew of offense. I mean, there's not even a lick of defense. I expect this to be a high-scoring game. The biggest points over under in the league for this week. I mean, we're talking about a game that could probably go into the 280s, 290 range. Now, the second thing we got to talk about is an overall matchup between these two coaches of 4-4. I mean, you may think, oh, that's only 8 games, you know? There must be of ups, downs, lows. No, their average matchup against each other is separated by 2 points. 139 to 137 is the average of these games. I mean, we're talking about close encounters, barely squeaking by with the wins, and I expect this game to be somewhat close within itself. But lastly, and the most important part, Coach Fitzgerald and the Los Angeles Flames need to build a lead early in this game. Because listen, you have to hold this lead Thursday night. You have Tyreek Hill and Devon A. playing Thursday night. Start up. Make sure your team's ready. Get a real big lead. Because Sunday, once Sunday goes, Monday is all Coach Big B. I'm talking Bijan Robinson, Saquon Barkley, all playing Monday night. That lead is going to be huge. If it isn't more than 30, 40, you should not feel safe. So this is going to be a tough matchup. I don't know how to rank myself. I can't really predict it. I'm going to say we win, but it's only because it's me. Let's move on to the next game. Now going into the 1 o'clock game, this is number 8 newly, the Boston Baller brand, versus the number 9 Las Vegas Hurdlers. A game that could really change the standings at that bottom tier level. Someone's going to go up, but we don't know who, hopefully. Listen, look at the rosters right here. They aren't the greatest rosters that you've ever seen in your life. I'm going to be honest, especially if some players get injured. That will be a key to the game, but give us a second. Just looking at the rosters. I mean, Jaden Reed was a game changer of the match last week. Maybe he can do it again. Who knows? But now let's go into the keys of the game, starting with injuries. Boston has suffered severe injuries. T. Higgins is injured. C-Mac is potentially injured. David Njoku has already been determined out for the game, as well as Coach Mills with a whole bunch of questionables that we don't know if they're all going to play on Sunday night or Monday night or Thursday, whatever the day is. We don't know. There's a bunch of questionables with Coach Mills' team as well. So injuries are a huge part of the reason why these teams may not turn out to be that great, which is exactly why we have to say this is going to be a low-scoring game. This is definitely different from the game we were just talking about Thursday between the 1 and 2. I mean, this 8 and 9 game is going to be a very defensive game. It's about who can make that final push, which player can, outperform his projected points, whatever you think he's going to have, and play a game that just solidifies their team's win. I don't know if that's going to happen like Jaden Reed did last week for Las Vegas Hurdlers, but I do expect someone's going to break out and somebody's not going to have a good game. Lastly, and this is honestly the most important one, the quarterback play for all 4 of these guys has been pretty subpar. Sam Darnold, we should expect not to play that great a game. We have Jared Goff, who only had, I believe, 11 points last week, along with Kirk Cousins, who literally is trash. Patrick Mahomes should not have the week that he had last week, especially going up against Cincinnati. So I think quarterback play matters. And in all honesty, when you add up each other's quarterbacks together, I feel like whoever's performed higher will win that game. Quarterback play is going to be huge. Boston hasn't had it, and I don't even know how long. And I think the Hurdlers with Patrick Mahomes, I think he's able to, come up here and actually win this game. So I do have the number 9 seed winning against the number 8 seed, and I have Boston falling to 0-2. So let's go to the next game. For our third slated game, our 425 game, we have the number 3 Philadelphia Frauds coming off a huge win. First is the number 6 newly Toronto Mystics coming up against an upset win against Boston last week. And look at these teams. These teams have a lot of interesting talent. I mean, a lot of interesting players who could boom, bust. We saw that, Toronto had a lot of players who boomed Sunday night, and also a lot of players who, fell a little bit short early in the Sunday afternoon games. Same thing with Philly. What can I say? They have the superstar power. They have the name brand players. But Toronto, their coach, they can win without name brand players. They can do that. It's not out of the realm of possibility. So let's go to the keys to the game. Starting off with the first key is that Toronto is 5-4 against Philadelphia, as well as 2-1 in the Dynasty era. So this is a pretty close matchup. I don't really think there's much separating these two teams in totality when it comes to, just seeing them on the other side of the field. This second key, this is the most important key, all right? If Toronto want a chance at winning this game, they need to match the quarterback play of Philadelphia. It's going to be a huge thing to ask of these two quarterbacks. We have Caleb Williams and Justin Fields. Kind of ironic that both of those two players are on the same team, given what happened in real life. But they need to match up against Jalen Hurts and Dak Prescott, two guys who have been in the league and who have been doing this for a long time at a high fantasy level. Toronto has high upside quarterback play, but I don't know what the floor is going to look like. And it all comes down to Justin Fields. I didn't get to really predict Justin Fields last week because Justin Fields was a late start. Like, it was lately claimed that he was starting, so I really didn't have a chance. I thought they were going in with Deshaun Watson. You're going to have to match these players. And more importantly for Toronto, Monday night, Eagles and Falcons are going to be playing. I don't know if they're playing against each other, but they are going to be playing. Monday night has no players for Toronto. But Monday night for Philadelphia, Drake London, A.J. Brown, Jalen Hurts. 20 from Hurts, 15 from A.J., 10 from Drake London. And I think these are generous numbers. Toronto needs to build a lead. They need to build a lead if they want any chance of winning this game. Their players Sunday need to step up like they've never done before if they want to get this win and come out 2-0 and potentially rise in the power rankings for next week. They need to perform Sunday and just hope that they did enough and play defense on Monday night. Let's go to the next game. Going into this next game, we have the number 4 Washington kickball team taking on the number 7 New York 67ers. Listen, New York, I'm not going to lie to you. I think this is a winnable game, way more than what they had last week against the number 1 Atlanta Juicers team. This is something that they actually could achieve, especially given some of these really crucial keys to the game. Looking at the rosters right now, you can see they're kind of nip and tuck. I think these two rosters are really close, really tough to predict who exactly is going to win this game. But let's move on to the keys. The first key to the game is very simple. Jordan Love and Puka Nacua are injured. They got injured. I'm talking they're probably out for multiple weeks. What is Washington going to do here, okay? I believe that they're going to be rocking with Bo Nix. That's what I had them in their predicted lineup. Bo Nix might be able to get it done. He is a rookie. He is going to come in for Jordan Love and hopefully perform. I believe they are also getting rid of Zamir White after the bad performance that he had last week in a crucial game against Los Angeles. There's a lot of injuries on this Washington team to big-name players, players that were going to produce heavily for Washington. But Coach Luther has a set of players that he can put in his place. I have no doubt about Coach Luther's depth, and I think he honestly, he's done way better with way worse. As for New York, they are going to need to have that wide receiving core step up tremendously. Not just wide receiving core, but also the tight end. Dalton Kincaid had a dud. Marvin Harrison had a dud. Brandon Ayuk had a dud. These are players that need to perform. Against the number 1 team, Josh Allen gave it everything he had and still lost because those wide receivers did not perform to par. They need to do that this week. It is undeniable. We need Jerry Jeudy to step up and still be that guy. He was recruited as the 4th wide receiver on this team and was number 1 last week. We cannot have that be the recipe for success in New York. And if it is, there's a problem with the coaching staff. This is honestly a game New York can win for the simple fact that New York actually plays Washington kickball team, one of the best he plays out of anyone in the league. It's one of the few teams that New York actually has an over 500 record against. We may not be the greatest team. We know how to play against Washington every year. So let's just continue to do what we do. Hopefully New York can come out with a win. I actually have New York coming out with this win this week in my predictions. Let's ball, New York. It's time. We need football back in New York. Real, live, legitimate playoff football. We need that. Now, even though last game we were talking about the Sunday night football, now it's moving on to Monday night football where we have... This can't be right. What? Dallas slated as the Monday night football game. Dallas should never step foot on primetime games. 4:25 and 1 o'clock should be the only game they have ever, unless the team they're playing has a whole bunch of players on bye week. Coach Kwanzaa and the Dallas Lax Bros. What can I say? They have a lot of young talent. But against the number 5 actually. Dang, I forgot. Vice City Business. They did slip in the power rankings after last week's loss. This is going to be a game where I don't even know if I can even talk about it. Are there even any real keys to the game? Dallas, what you need to do, and it's very simple if you want to win this game, you need to play a game of tag, and he needs to be it. What you need to do is make sure on Thursday Night Football, when you have Shakir, and you have Coleman, and you have Tua, you build a lead that you stay and you hold on to for dear life, and you do not let Coach Montague get that lead no matter what it does, because the moment Coach Montague gets that lead, it's over for you guys. As for Coach Montague, this is a bye week, as he has himself claimed it to be. So don't get mad at me. I think it is one, though. Just don't underestimate your opponent too bad. You never know. Thursday night had us scared last week when he went up against the Las Vegas Hurdlers. Maybe he pulls off an upset against a really good team in the Vice City Business who just happened to be number 5 because they played Philadelphia, number 3 ranked. That being said, you have my predictions for how the second week of JPDL League football is going to pan out. But let's do a little recap. So on Thursday night, we have the Atlanta Juicers taking on the Los Angeles Flames. And I do have Coach Fitzgerald and the Los Angeles Flames winning because it's me. I think that's all I can say. If Devon A-Chain's hurt, I'm screwed. Anyway, then we have the number 8 Boston Baller brand taking on the number 9 Las Vegas Hurdlers. And this game, I'm going to give to Las Vegas. I think this is going to be an upset game. I don't like what I'm seeing from Boston. Las Vegas has a chance to really pull off something and really boost themselves in the power rankings like they have said actually publicly that they want to do. So, they want to do it. Show us against the number 8 team. I'm just saying. Next thing we have is the number 6 Toronto Mystics taking on the number 3 Philadelphia Frauds. Now, I am a fan of what Toronto did last week in overcoming Boston. However, Philadelphia is taking this win. I have them winning. I can't not have Philadelphia winning. I disrespected them last week. I'm going to respect them this week. Although if Justin Fields somehow goes crazy, who knows? By the way, I don't know if I said this, but I'm going to say this right now. If C-Mac is hurt, I for sure have Boston losing. But if C-Mac somehow, by some miraculous, God strike me down, and C-Mac actually plays, I still have Las Vegas, but it's way closer than I thought I would. Now, moving on to the second to last game. This is actually the Sunday night game. We have the number 4 Washington kickball team taking on the number 7 New York 67ers. And I have the number 7 New York 67ers again with another upset. And lastly, we have the number 5 Vice City Business taking on the number 10 Dallas Lax Bros, which I don't think I need to say anything else anymore. Anytime you see Dallas, I'm always picking the other way. Vice City Business take home the win and get the first win for their new brand. I can't wait to see where this goes. I can't wait to see who actually wins. And you guys will see my next video where I give y'all the recap of week 2. So until then, let's get this football going. JPDL week 2, we are in it. Let's move.